What is up and welcome back to the channel. Today we have a performance review of the Way of Wade Fission 8. Before we get into the review, don't forget to subscribe as that is the best way to support me. Thanks. Alright, so this shoe is one of Way of Wade's budget models. They retail for $119. If you watch my first impressions video, I did have high hopes for them and I kind of teased them as maybe a budget WOW 10. Are they a budget WOW 10? Probably not, but we can get more into that as we talk more about the shoe. As a general overview, the upper is mostly mesh. There is some fuse in some high wear areas. The cushion system is light foam plus, as well as targeted boom in the forefoot and in the heel. There are some shank plates, both top loaded and bottom loaded in the midfoot area. And for the traction pattern, it's mostly this repeated infinity sign over and over again. I'm gonna switch things up a little bit, and instead of going by like the upper, the fit, the traction, and then the cushion, I'm gonna just talk about things I like and then things I didn't like about the shoe, and then my general thoughts. Things I did like about the shoe. The fit is pretty one-to-one, so I went true to size. This is a size 9.5, and I felt very secure in the shoe. So that is one thing I like. The fit is very good. Another thing that I liked about the shoe is that the shoe is very lightweight. You do notice this on shoes that are typically heavier, and as time goes on, you'll notice your shoes a lot more and more, harder to jump, harder to move, and that was nothing I felt with these, so these are a very lightweight shoe. Another thing that I liked about the shoe is the traction actually, which kind of surprised me. I did say in my first impressions that the traction seemed like it performed really well, and it did. The thing that surprised me is that from my experience with the All City 10s, the Sun of Flashes, that had the same tough outsole, and those tractions were very inconsistent, especially on indoor courts. But this was very squeaky, had great bite on the floor. This forefoot area is very wide, and so that offers a lot of stability, and this outrigger as well does provide extra stability. There weren't really specific occasions where I'm like, oh, I'm glad I had these teeth here, but I think they do help in general because you just have a wider base in the forefoot. So traction might be the best feature of the shoe. As far as the shank plate, I didn't really notice it that much. It didn't provide that much extra oomph in my opinion, so I think they were kind of meh. And the last thing I like about the shoe is the colorway and the design. So just the way that it looks, I think it looks really sleek. So moving on to kind of the things that I didn't think were that great. I did mention this in the first impressions, but this tongue is very thin, and that is something that you notice, especially for someone like me who ties their shoes really tight. I had a lot of lace pressure around my ankle, even around my midfoot and forefoot area as well. So even though I did enjoy the fit of the sneaker, I think that this lackluster tongue and the lack of padding in the tongue as well, and these not so great laces made at least the top of the shoe a little bit uncomfortable to me. One thing I did want to note is like these flywire strands did help with the support and lockdown of the shoe in general, so I did want to point that out as a good thing. But as far as the lacing and how it felt on my foot, it was definitely a little bit uncomfortable. Another thing I didn't enjoy as much about the shoe is actually the cushion system. So we have mainly light foam plus in the midsole as the carrier foam, and then we have targeted boom in the forefoot and in the heel. So if you've watched my videos before, you know I like more of a bouncy forefoot for cushioning, and I don't care as much about the heel. I mean, there should still be some cushioning there, but I would rather have the cushioning be mostly in the forefoot and less in the heel. So in this shoe, it's actually flipped. So the heel provides a lot more impact protection and bounciness, whereas the forefoot is more on the court feel side of the shoe. So I did not feel the boom as much in the forefoot or much cushioning at all, in my opinion. So for hitting, anyone playing in the front row, middles, setters, outside hitters, right sides, I probably would not recommend this shoe because of the lack of cushioning in the forefoot and the lack of bounciness and impact protection. So that's probably why I don't like this shoe as much, especially when I'm playing outside hitter. But because this is a great court feel shoe and has good fit, good traction, good stability, and you can feel very agile in these, I think these are a very good shoe actually for DSs and liberos. So anyone playing primarily back row, if you're not jumping and you don't need as much impact protection, then this shoe is actually a great fit for those types of players. So to wrap it up, are these my favorite shoe? Probably not. Would I recommend it for $119? Also, probably not. I think there are better options. Like you could spend an extra $10, get the Sabrina 1s, or even at the same price point, you can get the 808 V3s, which I've heard are really good. I have the Ultra version, which I'm gonna be testing next, so be on the lookout for that video. But I think for $119, it's hard for me to recommend this shoe, especially because it's not really an all-around performer in my opinion, and mainly for back row players if you're playing volleyball in these, or if you like court feel in general and don't care as much about impact protection, then these are still a great shoe. But for $119, I think there are better options. You might even be able to find some LeBron 20s on sale, or maybe the Ja Morants. So for me, I would probably pass on these and look for something else, but it really depends on your playstyle, what you're looking for. So take all of that with a grain of salt, but I think it's gonna do it for this video. Thanks again for watching. Let me know if you have any questions in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.